Alrighty, good evening, Arkansas. This is Chief Forecaster Cameron.
And Director Derek here. We're getting ready to go over, as y'all know, we have been tracking now for quite some time what was originally Category 5, Hurricane Beryl, that is now a tropical storm. But again, we look like we could be getting ready to see what could be, once again, a hurricane as it comes on shore here somewhere between Galveston and Corpus Christi this evening.
Gotcha. So here's the current information regarding Beryl. This is a 986 millibar tropical storm right now here, and I know we've been kind of watching this over the last couple of hours. The National Hurricane Center, they're sending the hurricane hunters out there right now. I'm betting that this thing gets upgraded to a Category 1 hurricane before too much longer here. We'll have to keep an eye on it. If you could take a look at satellite imagery right now, you can see how the thunderstorms are starting to explode near the center. This system is a lot more organized than it was over the last couple of days. So just kind of keep that in mind. Something we're going to have to continue to monitor as this pushes off towards the north and northeast towards Arkansas. But for right now, it's a high-end tropical storm. Should become a Category 1 hurricane before landfall. And then we will be dealing with this as we move into tomorrow and into your Tuesday morning here. And we're going to talk to you guys about, what to expect, what's going to be happening and stuff like that. For a lot of people, this is the first time they've ever dealt with a tropical system. Derek, this kind of reminds me, 4 years ago, me and you, we were doing Hurricane Laura coverage when that was coming through. So this is nothing new to us. We've done this so many times. And we're going to keep you guys updated with this here, okay? So, go ahead, Derek. What you got?
So, this is the first tropical system that we have dealt with since 2020. And so, from 2017 to 2020, we dealt with 9 of them. 5 of those were during COVID year in 2020. So this is nothing new to Arkansas, but it's been a few years since we've really had to deal with it. It is rare for July, but not unheard of.
Right.
The biggest things, that we deal with in Arkansas when it comes to our tropical threats, is the risk of flooding and the risk of tornadoes. Those seem to be the 2 things that coincide. I know I think it was Cameron, with Laura in 2020.
Yes.
We did actually have tropical storm warnings and hurricane warnings into the state. So that was a very, very rare thing. And I think it was one of the first time ever that the National Reserve in Little Rock had issued tropical storm warnings into the state.
Definitely. So what you guys are looking at right now here, like I said before, this is kind of satellite imagery of what's going on. And what I've done is I've changed this to kind of show you guys what's been happening here. So you see the orange, that's the dry air. And then you see that white and you see the green kind of bluish color. That represents the moisture. And you can see over the last, I would say, 3 hours, this system has become more organized. It's kind of gotten rid of all that dry air that it's been battling over the last day or so. And it's going to intensify as it moves towards the Texas coastline here. So you can see the blue line along the Texas coastline. That stands for tropical storm warning. The red stands for hurricane warning along the Texas coast here. Now, I see the questions that are coming in. A lot of people want the specifics for their counties and their cities, etc. I'm going to tell you this right now. Okay, when you deal with a tropical system, this is more of a widespread deal. Okay, This is something that this is not like severe weather. This is not like you have a cold front coming in and you're dealing with these pop-up cells and stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, if one person sees it, everybody else is going to experience the same thing here. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind for those that are asking. We see the comments over here. We're going to get to you guys as quickly as we can. But for right now, for those that are wondering, if you see the tropical impacts, 9 times out of 10, somebody else is going to see the exact same thing here. So we can go over to the severe weather outlook here. And basically, like I said, Derek, me and you covered Laura. Dustin, you've been here. Chandler, you've been here. This is something that you deal with whenever you deal with a tropical system here. We don't like talking about tornadoes all the time, and we don't like talking about severe weather every 5 seconds. But it's important that you guys know what's going on. So when you deal with a tropical system, especially on its eastern side, the side that Arkansas is going to be on, you deal with the potential of isolated tornadoes and the potential of wind gusts and the heavy rainfall threat as you move into late tomorrow and into your Tuesday here. Okay, we're going to go over Futurecast and all that good stuff coming up in a little bit. But for right now, basically, I would say from Harrison to the Queen all the way to the Mississippi border tomorrow evening, make sure that your awareness is up across the board. That's the number one thing that we're stressing, you guys. And like I said, this is not going to be a March 31st 2.0, or, not every single person is going to experience, tornadoes or severe weather or anything like that. But the problem is when you deal with a tropical system, if you remember Laura, you remember the coverage we dealt with Laura, Derek.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the tornado warnings that we dealt with that was ridiculous. So that's something that you have to deal with here whenever you're dealing with a tropical system here. Speaking of that, let's go and talk to you about the tornado threat here. So, Derek, if you want to take over for that, or Dustin, or Chandler.
Yeah, Dustin.
You can go ahead if you got it, Derek.
Yeah,
I was just checking something real quick.
You what?
No, I was looking at, obviously we're talking about the tornado threat and everything that is coming into Arkansas. Obviously, with it being making landfall in Texas, your southwestern areas of the state are going to be the most, impacted by the fact of severe weather more than your northern parts of the state. But that doesn't mean to let your guard down, as you can still see that we have a level 1 across the state for severe weather, except for down there in southwestern Arkansas, where we still have a level 2 area that is, still likely, but doesn't necessarily mean that, we are going to have any alerts of any severe weather alert day just yet. But there is still the possibility that this thing strengthens as it comes on shore and makes impacts into Arkansas tomorrow night. That, we are definitely watching that area as the possibility of severe storms and possible spin-up tornadoes, could be likely.
Definitely. Dusty, if you would do me a favor and pull up Dylan's comment from the question portal. He made a very, very good comment about when you're dealing with a tropical system here. So I love Dylan's comment here. The further west that this thing goes, the higher your tornado threat here. And a lot of people are trying to figure out, how are we getting a tornado threat with a tropical system? Think of it like this. You have an area of low pressure that's just kind of spinning through. We always talk about all the time that you need southeast winds to get a tornado threat here. Well, what ends up happening is you have those southeasterly winds being pumped into the state, especially on that eastern side, and you start getting the thunderstorm development. You have all that shear, that directional shear. That's how you get the tornado threat here. Now, like I mentioned before, this is not going to be like every single person in all 75 counties is going to see a tornado tomorrow, or tomorrow night, or on a Tuesday. Okay, this is just a possible risk. This is a risk that you need to have your guard up just to make sure. We've been doing this pretty much all year long. We've been talking about severe weather or tornado threat or something like that here. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind here. If you're having any issues, let me know. In terms of audio, you may have to come back in and come back out with this here. Okay, so Anna, I love Anna's comment. Just keep your eyes on the weather and make sure you're prepared just in case. We are planning on having a continuous live stream tomorrow. That way you guys can kind of keep an eye on what's going on with the radar and all the other stuff. Also, we've had a lot of people ask about, our mobile app. That is something that we're still working on. We're going to try. I don't like doing this because it's a last-second deal, but we're going to attempt to try to get something going over the next day or so you guys can have something to give alerts out to. But the biggest thing is I want you guys to pay attention to Facebook. If you haven't already, go subscribe to us on YouTube, because when we go live on YouTube, it sends a notification out. That way you're not missing any tornado warnings, or you're not missing anything at this current time here. Okay, so Derek, if you can see me on my other screen over here, we're going to go ahead and go over to the Futurecast, and then we're going to start kind of answering some questions here, because a lot of people are coming in asking about, about Monticello, etc. So give me just 1 second. I'll pull this up. And I'm going to go over to I do believe that's going to be first thing tomorrow morning here. So can you see it on your side over there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll just walk you through if you want to kind of explain what's going to be happening.
All right. So basically what we're looking at here now. So basically how it's going to do. So originally this is just me coming on shore. first thing in the morning, late tonight, early in the morning. Really, I'd say closer to the sunrise time frame. I'm seeing reports from the National Hurricane Center that this thing is starting to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
But the question is going to be how does the amount of dry air that is starting to be weeded out affect its overall structure as it moves on shore?
Definitely. So I'm going to take this out. So for those that are wondering timing, this is probably the best time to pay attention because we've had a lot of people asking about when is timing going to be coming in, etc. Much of the morning hours tomorrow morning, you're going to be good to go. I want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be fine first thing tomorrow morning. If you got any plans, you got work, etc., you're going to be good first thing tomorrow morning. Except for probably South Arkansas, you'll probably have some rain showers down here. We'll address that as needed here. But what ends up happening, as you can see on the bottom left corner of your screen, that massive activity down there in East Texas, that is associated with Beryl, and that's going to be moving to the northeast here. So you can see within time, and Derek, this is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on, especially for tomorrow afternoon. You're noticing these little discrete supercells that are starting to pop up right around 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Well, with us being on the eastern side of the system, what's going to end up happening is we'll have to keep an eye for an isolated tornado threat starting probably around 2-3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to be here. We're going to keep you guys updated and everything like that. First thing tomorrow morning, I do plan on going live once again first thing tomorrow morning for those that want to tune in, kind of see what's going on and everything like that here. Okay, so let's take this out. This is about 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. Good amount of rain coming in. A lot of people have been wanting rain. This is really good in terms of that. Not talking about the tornado threat, but it's really good for us getting some rain.
Yeah.
And you can see the heavier rainfall will be still just to the southwest of Arkansas here, but a good amount will be kind of filling in as we get later in the afternoon on Monday and into your Monday night. Go ahead, Derek.
This is the biggest thing when we talk about landfalling tropical systems in Arkansas. You can see our banding in the northeast quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what you do, you take the center of the low, and you cross-section it in 4 sections. You have a northeast quadrant, southeast, southwest, and northwest. So on the western side of these, once they make landfall, is where you get your heaviest rain. Then on the eastern side is what we call the dirty side, where basically you can talk about getting the potential for those spin-up tornadoes, as well as your higher wind speeds as well. And if you look and can see each arc around the center low, as well as up there in the northern part of the state, and any of those discrete cells in the eastern part of the state, any one of those can have a chance to produce a tornado. And it's something we're going to have to really watch, because if we get a lack of rainfall throughout much of the day, especially in central, southeastern, eastern Arkansas, this could enhance our tornado threat a little bit more so than what is currently anticipated.
Okay. And I got the marker so I can kind of show people on how to do that here. Okay, so let me go here. So basically what he's talking about is you have your low. This is associated with Beryl right here, and you're cross-secting it here. So the northeast corner is going to be kind of right in here, and that will move into Arkansas as we move into late tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. Along this, what we call the northeast quadrant of the low, this is where your tornado threat is going to be what we call elevated. I don't want to sound like we're trying to forecast a tornado outbreak or anything like that. I just remember Laura. I remember Hurricane Laura when we were dealing with this on that eastern side in eastern Arkansas and in Mississippi and western Tennessee. We had all those tornado warnings. We had those brief spin-ups and stuff like that. So that's something that you just, unfortunately, you have to deal with when you deal with a tropical system. Dustin, if you could do me a favor and pull up Tyler's comment. That's perfect. So as someone that's from southeast Texas that lives in Arkansas, I am more concerned about this system stalling out than anything. Well, good news is as of now, I want to make this clear, it does appear that the trough, or what we call it a trough that's moving in, is going to help kind of kick Beryl out pretty quickly. Now, I want to stress this right now. Derek, we've seen this so many times. Dustin, we've seen this. Chandler, we've seen this. You know, you get 24 hours out, you think timing is going to be moving quick, it's going to be out. Something happens to keep it from stalling. All it takes is if it misses the trough, or the landfall's later than expected, something like that, then what will end up happening is you talk about our rainfall total is right now 2 to 4 inches across the state. Could go even higher if this thing were to slow down. So Tyler, I had to tell you, really, really, really good comment, man. And let's see, here's from Sarah. This may be a dumb question. Folks, by the way, please ask questions. Nothing's dumb here. We want you guys to be prepared for something like this. Because a lot of people are new from Arkansas. A lot of people weren't even living here when we had Hurricane Laura in 2020. So all you got to do is ask questions. We're going to be here. We'll give you guys the answers here, okay? So I'm not familiar with these tropical systems. I'm assuming we'll have a higher risk for flooding if it stalls. What other risks are associated with the system stalling out? Yeah. Derek, you do a pretty good job with the tropics here. I'm going to let you take that one.
All right. So basically what we're watching right now is going to be the other risks associated with the system stalling out. So along with the flood, flooding is really the biggest concern with this stalling out, because basically that's where your heaviest rainfall comes in. And as we talk about that stalling out thing, the National Hurricane Center has actually, and the Air Force Center as well, are seeing that deviant motion that is causing it to stall a little bit on the coast. And as the trough comes in, as the system interacts with the trough, it's going to create what we call basically, Cameron, help me out here with the term here that I'm thinking of, but basically you will have, it's kind of a quote-unquote upsloping type effect, where you're going to have enhanced rainfall rates.
I know what the term is. It starts with an I.
Yeah.
I just can't pronounce it right now, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
But as this system moves in, if it does stall out, you do increase your flooding risk. The good thing is that we've not had much rain since early June.
Yeah.
So that will help to alleviate some of the risk early. However, as we go deeper into Monday night and into Tuesday, we do run that risk of flooding. Now, if the system does stall out on the Gulf Coast before making landfall, then you run the risk of an increased tropical system, meaning higher winds, which mean higher effects here, because for example, if this does manage to get to a Category 2, then it would potentially come to Arkansas as a weak tropical storm. Therefore, your winds would be increased further into the state. Right now, we're expecting 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusts up to 40, especially in southwest Arkansas, lesser as you go northeast.
Yep.
Heavy rain coupled with high winds, you run the risk of greater power outages because of downed trees. So the biggest thing is, if it stalls out, your wind threat does increase if it stalls out in the ocean.
Definitely.
If it stalls out over land, your flooding threat increases. If it stalls out in the ocean and then over land, then you run the risk of wind and flooding.
Definitely. And like I said, this is why he's here, guys. He's our chase director, but at the same time, he started AWW, so his tropical knowledge is almost second to none. So, now I want to talk to you about this here, and this is pulling up Dylan's comment real fast about your what's called your mid levels will be too dry, your EML, and could result in more tornadic activity if everything were to come together. Just something to remind yourself about. Really good comment, Dylan. Really good comment. And like I said before, this is something that we have to unfortunately deal with. I know we're dry. I mean, I think North Arkansas is in a moderate drought now. Much of the state is pretty much in a drought. So we need the rainfall here. But unfortunately, we will have to deal with the tornado threat. And here's what's going to end up happening here. So here's your system down here in northeast Texas. I want you guys to pay attention to this. And you see these little isolated supercells here near Camden, that's near El Dorado, to just the El Dorado comment I see on the board right now. That's not talking about these little cells up here near central Arkansas. To go back to what Dylan's comment was, if you start seeing these little breaks in the atmosphere, that's where you're going to start seeing these thunderstorms to develop. And with the shear in place, that's what's going to lead to the potential of a tornado threat here. Now, we do have a possible risk for much of Arkansas. I know Storm Prediction Center had talked about the potential of upgrading it within the next update. I think, and Derek, Chandler, and Dustin, if y'all would put an input on this as well, I think they do go 10%, and I think it's going to be in southern Arkansas. What do you guys think?
I agree with that, and like I said, it won't happen until the overnight update.
Okay, Chandler, what do you think? Okay. Okay. Definitely. Derek, what is your thoughts?
I think it's going to be basically highly dependent upon how strong our system is by the time it gets to the northeastern Texas area. But if we do, it will be in South Arkansas.
Okay. And like I said, we're fixing the we're fixing the audio issue. We took care of it, so he's good to go. So basically, guys, let me see here. So if you can pull up, I saw one comment here. It's from Tina. I got it, Chandler. Dustin, if you need me to do it real quick. So, will the biggest tornado threat be closer to the center of the storm or the outermost areas here? So, for those that are wondering about the tornado threat here, okay, so your area flow pressure is going to be, let's take this run and let's take this hour and kind of show you guys, okay? So, area flow pressure is going to be right here. Your biggest tornado threat, whenever you deal with any kind of tropical system, I don't even care if it's a post-tropical system. You can ask our folks up there in the Northeast, they've had a tornado outbreak from just a remnant low. Whenever you deal with something that has any kind of tropical nature in it, there's always going to be some sort of tornado threat. That's just how it is. That's just how it goes. So your biggest tornado threat will likely be on its eastern and that northeastern corner of the low. And keep in mind, this low is moving northeast within time. So this activity will be moving northeast. That is why much of Arkansas is in that tornado risk as we get into tomorrow night and into Tuesday. Because Arkansas is going to be on its eastern side. Now, for folks that, if you're in Texas or you're in Oklahoma and you're wondering, like, why is there not a tornado threat out there? Well, what ends up happening is, on the back side of the low, you have a lot of dry air come in. Okay? And what happens is, that kills your tornado threat. So let's say this system was going into Mississippi and Alabama, the biggest thing we would have to worry about is just rain. That's it. With us being on the western side. And sometimes you don't even see all that. But with us being on what's called the dirty east side of the system, that's where you have the heavy rainfall threat, the isolated tornado threat. And we haven't talked a lot about the winds because of the expected strength of the system. But we're going to check that out real quick and kind of show you guys that graphically coming up here in just a second. So if you go with let's go with the HLR, Derek. It's got 40 to 50 mile per hour winds coming from southwest Arkansas late tomorrow night into Tuesday. If you want to kind of talk about how that could be a potential issue.
All right, so basically, this is a concern because right now what we're doing is this is real-time information that is constantly processing what the National Hurricane Center flights, or the Air Force flights, are putting into the data. 40 to 50 mile per hour winds coupled with the heavy rainfall could lead to a lot of power outages, especially in southwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
And again, if you notice, your higher winds are displaced on the southwestern side of the storm, while your greatest rainfall threat is going to be on the western side and your tornado threat on the eastern side.
Yes.
But again.
Also, Derek, I don't mean to interrupt. Rachel's comment, I think she hears Ditzy in the background. It's okay. It's okay. That's just our weather dog. She's out there doing something. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
But once again, so with this, if these winds are correct, these are wind gusts, not sustained winds.
Yeah.
So keep this in mind. We are still going to be dealing with 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, especially in South Arkansas. Tropical storm winds start at 40 miles an hour, and that is sustained winds.
Yeah.
So if you talk about sustained winds, we're talking tropical depression status, which is 30 to 40 miles an hour. And then obviously you get into the subtropical, etc., whatnot. We're not going to go into all of that, but regardless, this is expected to maintain tropical status until it merges with the trough northeast of Arkansas.
Yeah. So you can see there's your area of low pressure here. And like I said before, we're getting a lot of people asking about, the tornado watches and stuff like that. I fully anticipate a tornado watch. I fully anticipate it. And it will probably be starting probably as early as tomorrow afternoon. They'll probably put some kind of mesoscale discussion out probably around lunch, talking about, the cells affecting out from Louisiana coming into Arkansas. So I fully do anticipate that we will have tornado watches in place, probably starting, like I said, from early tomorrow afternoon, probably going all the way until probably sunrise Tuesday morning, maybe even later than that. At this timing. So this is what your low looks like right here. And like I said, for those that are trying to figure out, this is a tropical system. Why in the world are we talking about a tornado threat? It seems like that's all we've been hearing about all year long is tornado this, tornado that, tornado this, tornado that. The only reason why we're talking about it is because you can see the southeast winds coming into the storm like this. Any cells that develop on its eastern and northeastern side, that is where your tornado threat is going to be there. Okay, now keep in mind, this is not going to be like a tornado outbreak or anything like that, but it's just something that you just have to deal with whenever you deal with a tropical system. That's how it is. It doesn't come to fruition every single time, but there's some things that you have to keep an eye on. Also, another thing is the timing. With it being a nighttime threat, that is going to reduce your heating and will tamper with your tornado threat. But the problem is you're going to have that shear. You're going to have that shear in place. Kevin answered your question earlier, by the way. It was because of the topography, basically the elevation. It's going to help with the rainfall totals across the area here. We'll get into rainfall totals coming up here in just a little bit. But I wanted to kind of show you guys the wind gust potential with this as well. And you can see by the time we get into, this is 4 o'clock in the morning, by the way. This is still an ongoing deal. You have to watch, I would say, from Hot Springs to Little Rock, along Highway 167 up to Jonesboro, that clear area that you see over here in eastern Arkansas. Any cells that were to get going in that environment, you'll have to keep an eye on for that isolated tornado threat. This is going to be something that is going to continue from tomorrow afternoon all the way until this system is gone Tuesday morning. We are fully prepared to be live and to do coverage and to give you guys updates for 12 hours plus. This is not going to be a situation where, you see one storm and you think you're done. No, this is going to be a constant deal until this system is completely out of here.
Yep.
Like, that's just how it's going to be. And and like Darren said, if this speeds up, that's awesome. If it slows down, that could be another issue that we'll have to deal with as we move into Tuesday. What you got?
Speaking of our rainfall outlook,
yeah.
8:35 p.m. update from the WPC has now a moderate risk up to the Arkansas border.
Okay.
With much of the western half of the state and a slight risk for excessive rainfall.
Definitely. So speaking of the rainfall, I got the rainfall totals up that we're looking at this current time. And the biggest thing with this, and Dustin, if you could do me a favor, first of all, before you do that, I want to get Kristen's comment out of the way. I apologize. Thank you so much and what you guys do. I hate having weather like this. It gives you so much anxiety. I don't want anyone shaming somebody just because they have storm anxiety, folks. You got to realize what we've been through all year long. We've had multiple moderate risk days. We had a high risk day. There's a lot that has been going on here. You had the tornado event up there in North Arkansas earlier on. There's a lot of activity that we've been dealing with. It's been a very long spring here in Arkansas, and the active weather continues into the summer. So don't judge anyone just because they have that. It's natural, especially when you deal with the amount of stuff that we've dealt with here. So thank you so much for that comment. I live in Hot Springs, but I am down in Houston visiting family. Oh man, please be careful down there. I know I'm not sure, Dustin, Derek, Chandler, if y'all have heard about evacuations. I haven't kept up with all that. I don't know if it was a mandatory evacuation over the Texas coast or not. But if you are down there, please be careful if you're planning on riding it out with this here. Okay, so we go back to the rainfall potential here. So you can see in western Arkansas, the higher rainfall totals look to be close to almost 6 inches of rain. Derek, what is your opinion on the rainfall totals per WPC?
So now I want to stress this, as I just mentioned earlier. So this is based upon the current track, based upon the current where the storm is now. Current track as of the 4 p.m. Update. We're going to be getting a new one here shortly. It takes the center from Texarkana to Little Rock to Jonesboro north. So that means your rainfall is on the western side. I do believe these amounts are good, but we could see a little bit higher amounts. I want to stress that with the system jogging east a little bit, we could see these shift a little bit east as well, bringing your 4 to 6 inch totals back into central Arkansas. Again, tropical systems are never 100% exact. If the track wobbles west, your higher amounts go west.
Yeah.
If they jog east, your higher amounts go east. So until the system is up on us, literally within maybe 100 miles, and we know the track is going to stay steady, these are going to go back and forth.
Yep.
But for now, I feel like this is a good indication.
Yeah.
I do think some areas could be underdone, and a few areas could be overdone.
Yeah. And what I'm going to do for just a minute here, because we have a lot of people that are asking, I'm going to pull this up and I want to show you guys this. So this is the track for what could potentially be Hurricane Beryl by the time it makes landfall. I want to make this crystal clear, okay? I know this has been going around on social media a lot. Folks, this is not going to be a hurricane by the time it makes Arkansas. I want to make that clear. It is almost, unless the Gulf Coast takes a Category 5 hit, it is almost impossible to get a hurricane this far north. Unless it was Laura, you had situations like that where it was very, very powerful hitting the Gulf Coast and it kept its strength inland. This system is not going to do that. This is not going to be a major hurricane coming into Arkansas. This is not going to be that at all. It's the remnants. It's whatever's left from that system is going to be coming into Arkansas. So I want to make this crystal clear to everybody that's asking. Just because you're not in the track does not mean you're not going to see rainfall. Let me make this clear. This is just for the remnants of the system. That's all what it is. It's just for the remnants. A lot of people, like I said before, have never dealt with a tropical system before. They've never dealt with it. If you weren't here in 2020 with Hurricane Laura, you probably have no idea what all this means right now. But the biggest thing I want to stress is if you're in that red area, this is just for the track. That's it. Heavy rainfall will be possible. A good amount of people are going to see rainfall out of this, but it is just the track. That is all what it is. Just because you're not, your city's not in there, doesn't mean that you're not going to see impacts from this system. Derek, what you seeing over there?
It is still not a hurricane. The latest outlook just came out, and it's somehow is not a hurricane yet.
Okay.
I was not expecting that. I was expecting a full-fledged hurricane. Let's see. Latest, better organized than that. Deconvection increase near the center. They have noted the eye wall is still a little bit open, which is preventing further intensification right now. But
I can pull that track up.
Forecast
go ahead. Yeah, go
is
ahead.
still it to be a minimal Category 1 by the time it makes landfall.
Okay.
And a 35-mile-per-hour tropical depression over Arkansas.
Yeah. So that would be, and I would dare say, Derek, that's about 35. Yeah, I would dare say.
So latest track is not out yet.
Okay. I'm looking at it right here. The latest one's not out yet. Just the 7 p.m. one.
Yep.
It's gonna be coming out here just shortly here. But I kind of want to zoom in to kind of show everybody what's going on. Okay, because a lot of people have been asking, what's going on with here and all that. What you're looking at here, like I said, this is just for the track. So this is putting you at about 1 o'clock on, I do believe that's going to be Tuesday. That's just for the center of the system to push through. Okay. If I would say, and Dylan, he's been talking about this as well. Anyone on this eastern side, and I can draw this out for you guys. Okay, this is where the biggest impacts are going to be in terms of the tornado threat, etc. It's going to be right in here. Basically, you see this line, and you take that line and you just look at it from the east side of it. Okay, so that line right in here, all of eastern Arkansas, that does include the metro, especially if this track were to be verified. This is where you would have to watch for that tornado threat. My folks in western Arkansas, northwestern Arkansas, unless this thing completely shifts out towards eastern Oklahoma, the tornado threat out here will look a little bit lower. However, flooding will be an issue out here because of the fact that you will have help from the elevations to kind of get the heavy rainfall going. So some totals out here could approach 6 inches of rain as we move into tomorrow night and into your Tuesday morning here. So I want to make that clear at this time. Okay, if there were to be any tornadoes in Little Rock, should they stay on the weaker side? Derek, I'm gonna let you take that one.
All right, so let's see, on the weaker side. So typically when we're dealing with a tropical system, most of your tours are going to be EF0, EF1, typically on the weaker side. Very rarely do you get an EF2 plus unless they are right as they come on shore.
Yeah.
We have seen it from time to time. I know we saw it in North Carolina either last year or a couple of years ago.
It was Ida. I think that was 22. I believe. 22. Yeah, it was Ida.
We also saw it with several back in 2020. One of the, I believe 2 of the 4 that came through Arkansas did produce a couple of EF2s then. But if y'all were around for Hurricane Ike back in 2008, that one produced multiple tornadoes as a tropical storm and a tropical depression.
Yeah.
And that actually did
21. Thank you, Abby. 21. It was 21 for
and
Ida.
actually did produce several EF2s. It's common, but not likely.
Yeah.
I would say your greater risk would be of the brief, quick spin-ups is going to be your most common thing.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Cameron.
Which yeah, Cameron?
I was just gonna say, down there in Texas, you have your first tornado warning down there in Texas, just south of Lake Jackson.
Hopefully everybody can hear you. You just went red on our audio over here. So they can,
I don't know what
happened.
happened.
No. That means it's loud. Like they couldn't hear you. Then something's wrong. So, all right. So let's see here. Like I said, Kevin, he's been. Let's see here. The core that got disrupted by the islands, and there was some shear, but the precipitation shield and the wind field is expansive. The tornado threat is moving inland, and that's why that tornado threat is as big as it is.
Yep.
And we could go back. As a matter of fact, we could probably go back to it. Go ahead.
Hey, Cam, let's go look at the live radar
Yep.
in Houston.
In Houston. Give me 1 second.
And the reason why I'm saying this is because over the last 3 to 4 hours, we've seen a remarkable increase in moisture around the center. We've also seen a really big increase. You can see just over the last couple of hours where it is closed off.
Yep.
It is doing its best to close off. And I want to note this as well. We have seen a northeast shift with the tropical system.
I see that now. It's trying to go on its on the right side of the cone.
So if this happens, this is gonna, like I said, bring those heavy rainfall totals back to the east a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll have to keep because what's going on right now here is, and when you talk pattern, you have 2 ridges in place. You have a ridge out west. You have a ridge in the southeast.
Right.
That ridge is weakening in the southeast, which is allowing this system to kind of move north and northeast. Well, what's going on is it's trying to find where that center point is, where that path is going to be. So there's going to be some jogs, and the biggest thing I want to stress this right now too. A lot of people will get upset with you when they don't see a lot of rainfall, and I get it. I do. It's summer. It's dry. People want rain. You got to realize something. We can't control when you're going to see rainfall or how much you're going to see. We saw this with Laura. Man, we were dealing with this with Laura. Some folks that have 4 to 6 inches of rainfall barely got an inch or 2. Or some folks that have 1 to 2 inches of rainfall got 4 to 6. All it takes is this thing to shift 50 miles to the east, 50 miles to the west, a little bit of jog here and there, and your rainfall totals are going to vary from there. So please keep that in mind, guys, over the next couple of days.
So we now have a new track.
Okay.
Latest National Hurricane Center track now takes the center back to the southeast of Little Rock, just barely. But one thing I want to note is an increase in intensity across the state of Arkansas.
Okay.
35 to 40 mile per hour winds in southwest Arkansas, as we saw on data, and only down to 30 miles per hour as it crosses the border on Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that's bringing your increase of you're increasing in winds a little bit further north than what was originally anticipated. Also to note the eastward shift a little bit as well.
So what I'm gonna do here, and like I said for Derek, I don't mean to take your radar away. We've got a lot of people asking about timing, etc. here. So just give me 1 second. I want to make this clear, okay? And here's a track. There's the newest one as of 10 o'clock. It now has a 35 mile per hour tropical depression, a full-on tropical depression, 45 mile per hour winds. This is as of Tuesday morning, okay? So timing of this right now is going to be, it's shifting a little bit more to the east, which is going to impact your tornado threat, by the way. If this track were to verify, your heavy rainfall threat will shift a little east, your tornado threat will shift. So basically it would be, like you said, from I-30. But timing with this, guys, is going to be from pretty much 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon to about, I would say, 1 o'clock on Tuesday. And this is for pretty much everybody within this area. Okay, I know everyone wants the specifics and this and that. Folks, this is not a regular severe weather event. This is not a, one person's going to get, a timing for this second or whatever. This is going to be widespread. One person sees it, another person's going to see it. That's how it is when you deal with a tropical system. Now, that doesn't mean that the tornado threat is going to be widespread. That doesn't mean it's going to be a tornado outbreak. But that means that the entire precipitation shield, that heavy rainfall threat, the tornado threat, it's going to be there. It's going to impact a lot of real estate as we move into tomorrow and into your Tuesday time frame. So to make this clear, I would say my timing right now is from 4 p.m. Monday to 3 o'clock on Tuesday. I will probably move it to about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Not 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and go into Tuesday here. Okay, so I want to make this clear at this current time here. Okay, for those that are asking about timing, this is going to be a widespread event. I know the echo, guys. Be patient with us, okay? I know. We've got it. I muted it. It's good. Be patient with us, guys, okay? Number one thing I want to stress right now is don't spam anything. We know what's going on. We're working with a lot of stuff right now. Be patient with us, okay? Timing right now is going to be from 2 p.m. tomorrow to about, I would say, 1 o'clock as we move into Tuesday at this current time. Okay, Derek, what do you have at this time?
So basically, just to give an update on everything. Again, as we've seen throughout this spring, our track has shifted.
Hang on, guys. Okay, we're gonna switch this over. Go ahead and speak. It's on this other microphone. We're still working out some stuff, guys. So go ahead.
All right, can you hear us now?
Let us know in the comments if you can hear us. Let us know in the comments if you guys can hear Derek.
That was weird.
That was very weird.
Because we're on the same microphone.
Yeah. Not sure what's going on. Okay, they can hear you now. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, there we go. All right, so as we are talking about, so once again, this track is shifted east, so therefore the heavy rainfall totals are going to shift east. So now that would bring the heaviest totals from Texarkana to Little Rock, Jonesboro points northwest. That will also bring, again, continuing that potential tornado threat in southeast Arkansas, eastern Arkansas, basically from Texarkana to Little Rock to Jonesboro east is where your greatest tornado threat is going to be. So, West Arkansas, heavy rain and wind. Eastern Arkansas, lower rain threat, higher tornado risk. Central Arkansas, the risk of both. Basically is where we are at now. That this is going to split the state in half, which has been our thinking from the get-go.
So hopefully you guys, like I said, hopefully you guys can hear him. We're still working out some audio issues. Keep in mind, this is summer. We work on projects and everything like that, so we're still working out some new stuff over here. So we'll have it better and ready to go by tomorrow. Just be patient with us. But this is summer. Like I said, that's just how it is. We're still working. I saw one comment was like Ryan Hall is having the same issue. Yeah, this is something that we normally don't deal with this in July. This is an August track this is pretty much an August system in July. July is normally Arkansas's dead period. Normally we don't see much here, and we're able to work on stuff and everything like that here. So if there's audio issues, we apologize. We're going to get that taken care of. Don't get mad at us or anything like that. But basically, what we're trying to say right now is that you're going to have that rainfall potential for those that are west of that line here. So I'm going to make this clear for those that are wondering, okay? Because this is probably a lot of people coming in trying to figure out what's going on. Everybody's going to see rainfall out of this. That's just no more thing. I know everyone, the majority of the comments is, are we going to see rainfall? Yes. If you don't see the amount of rainfall that you are expecting right now, no need to get upset about it. I understand. It's July. Everyone needs to rain, all that. I get it. But this system is very, very hard to kind of pinpoint who's going to see what in terms of heavy rainfall potential. You saw this with the 10 p.m. track. You're probably going to see this with the next update. It's going to go back and forth because National Hurricane Center is trying to figure out, is this going to shift east? Is it going to shift west? There's a lot of things that we're trying to figure out right now here, okay? So, no more thing I want to stress, okay? Heavy rainfall will be a potential for the majority of the area, okay? Especially on the western side of this track. That is, I can zoom this down so you guys can hopefully see the cities. That's Little Rock, there's Fort Smith, there's Texarkana, Mena. Pretty much western Arkansas is going to have that heavy rainfall potential if you're on the western side of the track. If you're on the eastern side, you're going to have a heavy rainfall threat and you're going to have a tornado threat that you're going to have to deal with here, okay? So keep this in mind as we move into tomorrow and into Tuesday. I am fully anticipating that we're probably going to have some sort of like 12-hour plus coverage going over these little mini supercells that are going to have that rotation potential. That's just how it's going to be whenever you deal with something like this. But I want to make that clear to everybody. If you have, let's say you have 4 to 6 inches of rainfall forecast for you, you only see 2 inches out of that because the system moved east. That's something that you just cannot forecast that far ahead. You can't forecast that. It will have that, and here's the biggest deal with that, okay? We're trying our best to kind of nail down who's going to see what, but we're going to stress over the next day or so that stuff is going to change. It's going to change. Everybody, at least at the bare minimum, everyone should at least get some rainfall out of this system. I think I pretty much, I would say safely, pretty much the good amount of the state, if not all the state, will see at least some rain out of this. In terms of who's going to see the heaviest, that remains to be seen because you see this track, it goes south Little Rock, heaviest rainfall shifts southeast. It goes northwest, the heaviest rainfall goes west. It's just going to wobble a lot over the next day or so as we continue to kind of monitor this. And along with that, like I said before, the tornado threat here. And I'm noticing something there. I'm looking at this system in real time right now in terms of the radar. There's a what we call a special marine warning on the western side of this. And it has for the potential water spouts. Kind of talk about the tornado threat a little bit, which we can go back to here in just a little bit. For our folks on the western side, what are your thoughts on that tornado threat?
Really, you don't really see tornadoes on the western side. But again, right around the center, circulation, as they come on shore, is more common than, say, as it moves further inland. That being said, it is still possible to get a spin up or two on the western side, but the greater risk will obviously be in that northeastern quadrant of the storm.
Gotcha. Okay. So I saw one comment that was from Bree. Hurricane versus tornado. I don't know which one I hate more at the moment. I know.
Yes.
And we get it. We get it. We fully do, folks. I'm noticing something here. You know, we don't like talking about tornadoes. We don't like talking about severe weather. Keep in mind, it is July. For crying out loud, it is July. By this time, we're normally all on a break. We're all normally just talking about heat and, you know, sunshine and all that. We're normally on a break this time of the year. So this is something that we normally don't do. But you get systems like this to happen. Normally it's not a good sign in terms of the hurricane season. I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. We don't enjoy talking about this stuff, but we have to keep you guys safe and unaware. I love Beverly's comment, by the way. You and your team go above on weather information that everyone can understand. Thank you all. We appreciate it. Let me see here. I see one from Jack. Dustin, you read my mind on that comment. Would a 12-hour shift be the longest you guys have ever done? Man. No. What is out of the 10 years? No. 12 hours. 12 hours ain't the longest one we've done. I think what was it?
Okay, so to be honest,
you have to go back in history. Yeah.
No, you don't. The winter storm. Now,
Yeah.
are we talking straight?
No, you're talking straight coverage. I'm
Okay,
talking
straight coverage.
Like straight tornado warning coverage, like straight through.
My goodness.
Like no breaks, no nothing. The winter storm, we at least had a break.
Okay.
So, I think that was probably Laura of 2020, because I remember that one because I had a monster headache after that one. I think we just had So I was gonna say, Freddie, we just had one of the longest shifts I think back in the spring, but it was like we're talking like consistent.
We're not consistent.
Like no breaks, no, not going back to continuous coverage. We're talking like straight. Right. Yeah, I see it, Dustin.
Laura
Laura's the
was,
one.
if I remember, our longest tropical storm coverage.
Yeah.
Because we started that and it just went bonkers with it.
Yeah.
Because I would say then we went to hurricane warnings, tropical storm warnings, etc.
I remember the headache from that event. That was rough.
And I can't rule out that this is not going to be our only tropical event of the summer and the fall.
I know for a fact it won't be. This is reminding me of what happened in. I guess we weren't doing this in 2005, but our meteorologist Jeff Baskin, he mentioned this earlier on. How concerned he was about this kind of repeat in 2005. It's not every day you see a Category 5 hurricane in June. It was in June when it happened. You don't see a Category 5 that early. So it beat about 2 weeks. So you don't see stuff like this on a normal season. It normally doesn't end well. So just keep that in mind here. Also, I see someone has a birthday. Is it tomorrow? Happy birthday. Let me see here. We are new to Arkansas. We have been here exactly 1 year. You guys are great. Your message is you live in the state. There's going to be lots of wind and heavy rainfall, possibly some severe. Just be aware no matter what town you live in. I love that comment, Lori. Welcome to the natural state. I'm just letting you know right now we don't deal with tropical weather all the time. This is just like, this is like an occurrence. This is reminding me of 2020. Yeah, go ahead.
We've gone 4 years.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since we had our last tropical system here. So, I've also been watching this, and I have to ask, should I get extra food, battery, radios, other essentials? One more question is, a comment. I just want to know from you. With this system, fortunately, this is not going to be a LoRa 2.0. Hang on, let me knock on wood real quick. This is going to be a situation where you have heavy rainfall potential, and you have the tornado potential. Now, Derek, I'm noticing that the wind potential is starting to increase.
Yes.
Especially for our folks in southwestern Arkansas. So, what I would recommend, if you have one of those little portable generators, just to be on the safe side. Go ahead.
Treat this as a severe weather outbreak. Okay, this is what we can do. We can treat this as a severe weather outbreak type event. Normally you get 10-15 minutes of 60 to 80 mile per hour winds and you lose power.
Yeah.
So we're talking a 36-hour event with winds sustained, potentially of 35 to 40 miles per hour, with gusts as high to 40 to 50, with heavy rainfall. Your electric crews are not going to be able to get there until the system is passed. So I would say minimum be prepared for 2 to 3 days without power. If at worst case scenario, if you add tornado damage to it, if you add flooding to it, it could be longer.
Yeah.
I know with Laura, we have people without power for over a week.
Yeah. Dustin, I see Mickey's coming. Can we go back to fussing about the heat instead of this mess? Yeah. Like I said, this is July. This is normally our rebuild, and we're testing out new technology and stuff and everything like that. Kevin, 2019 was bad too. I remember 2019 in Southwest Arkansas with that tropical depression. They had a lot of flooding down there. So this is something that's not new to Arkansas. You deal with this on occasion where you'll have one of these tropical systems, and if the pattern supports it, you get one to come up into Arkansas. That's just normal. When you get something like this to happen, it doesn't happen every single season. Obviously, like Derek said before, we went about 4 years without dealing with a direct impact from the tropical system. I mean, obviously you had Ida in 2021. Excuse me. You had other systems that kind of brushed Arkansas to the east, but this is probably the first direct impact from a tropical system since Laura in 2020 here. Okay, so let me see here. Dustin, you just kind of picked a litter of the comments you want to pull up. We can answer any questions. I know it's getting kind of late. It's 10 o'clock. We're gonna let you guys kind of rest up and get ready. We're gonna end this live stream and go from there here. So we've pretty much gone over everything. Timing is going to be about, I would say, from about 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to about 1 o'clock on Tuesday. What you got for me, Derek?
Just last food for thought as we go into the overnight hours. Look at the latest radar scan.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the closing off now of your eye. So this is what's going to bring your hurricane potential in the last 6 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
Before this thing moves on shore and eventually moves across the state of Arkansas as a tropical depression. I can't rule out tropical storm winds as far as, say, for example, areas like Foreman, Texarkana, Fouke, places like that. But definitely 35 plus mile per hour wind across much of the state throughout the late night tomorrow night, especially on the day on Tuesday.
I was going to say real quick, Derek, if we can switch this over and if you could probably answer a few questions, I could probably get a Futurecast for Arkansas to kind of show everybody what's going on. If you guys can kind of give me just a second here. So,
yep.
Softening up the ground, trees, and everything else that, wind in itself, not just tornadic wind, but wind gusts in itself could be, nothing to play around with if 30 to 35 mile per hour winds or stronger are coming into the state with this as well.
Hey, Cam.
yeah, go ahead.
Latest NATO cast is concerning.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to. I may try. I could try to pull that up here in just a little bit.
Just to throw this out there, it's not an official forecast or anything, but it does point towards a higher end tornado risk for the architects with hatched as well.
That makes sense, and
I don't buy it, but it is a eyebrow raiser.
Yeah. How high is it going over there? And obviously, this is
30%.
It's going 30%.
Yes.
Wow. Whoa. I would be obviously. I'm not going to pull it up on here because it would terrify a lot of people.
Yeah.
I just put it that way.
It would, it pulls a 10% all the way to the metro, 5% to Jonesboro.
Okay.
But 15 to 30 across the architects.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
I don't either.
But so basically your low pressure center is over 70 miles wide.
Right.
With this event.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it because you have a meso low in the plains. You have a trough to the northwest of Beryl, and you have the tropical low coming up from the south. It's not. It's rare, but I can see it.
Right.
Correct.
Correct. All right. So let's see here. Yeah. So if you're here from out of California, this is and that's another weird thing is too. You know, if you're from California, how many times do you guys get impacted? You think it's rare here in Arkansas to get impacted by a tropical system? I think it's like once in every 10 years maybe out there for you to see even like a tropical depression or something, because it takes a special pattern for you to get a hurricane to impact California here. So welcome to Arkansas. This is something that we deal with. This year's been no short of being just absolute crazy. When is the last time in history Arkansas had a tropical storm this early? Our concern there to live in the Queen area. From the earlier storms of the past month, we have not been prepared with enough personnel in terms of restore electricity. I hope you can help the counties and stuff like that from outside help. So the earliest one, Derek, you're older than I am.
That's what I'm. Look, I cannot.
You're
recall.
older. You're older than I am. You would
Sorry,
probably
I'm
know.
35.
You're still older than I am. I'm 26. So, what would be the last time Arkansas had it this early in terms of?
That's what I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember. Much research as I've done, I don't remember the last time we've had one in July. Kevin, if you're still in the chat, would you possibly know? Because he's a well-respected meteorologist. He's awesome. He does a really good job with stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't remember. August, yeah, but okay. I don't remember the last one we had one this early. I don't remember. Yeah. So I don't know here. I don't know about that one. That one we'll have to continue to. We'll have to research that one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's something we're going to have to research. Right now, everything is literally barrel. So
yeah,
we'll have to.
I say right now
I'm
until we
gonna have
find
to go
it.
back in the.
Yeah, I say right now. I want to say, when was Ike? Ike was in September, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't Ike. Derek, you're gonna do the research over there. I'm gonna let you figure it out. While he's figuring that out, guys, we're gonna go over Futurecast real quick because that's a really good question. You got us thinking over here, trying to figure out when is the earliest one from this. So we're gonna switch this over to Futurecast real quickly, guys. And I kind of want to show you. This is kind of more of a localized Futurecast, kind of looking at everything. For those that want, the specific timing, trying to figure out when this is going to be impacting the area, this is the best time to look here. Okay, so about 1 o'clock tomorrow, scattered showers here and there, mainly across central and southern Arkansas. Let's take this out through and through. Okay, so this is about 3. You can see the heavier rainfall start to move in, and we can take this out all the way to about 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And you can see these cells down here near El Dorado, Texarkana, low 930. This is what you're going to have to watch for that tornado potential. There is a heavy rainfall potential as you move into that time frame. We can take this out a little bit out, and you can see about 11 o'clock. So I think by the time we get this time tomorrow, we're going to have a lot of heavy rainfall, a lot of wind. I'm willing to bet that we'll probably be on here covering a potential tornado warning or something like that. I bet we'll be dealing with that. Daniel said June 14th, 1956 was the earliest Arkansas had in terms of a tropical system. 1870. So 1870. Yeah. Whoa.
It's been.
That is.
Yeah.
Wow. You want to talk about rare? That is insane on how long it's been. Like, that's not even in this. Like, I wasn't even thought of when the last time we had this. So, like, Oh man, that's crazy. That tells you on how 2024 is. That's insane. So to get back to how we were talking about the Futurecast, there's a heavy rainfall coming in. This is about 11 o'clock tomorrow night, and then you can see. Let's take this out. 1 o'clock in the morning here. This is something that we're gonna have to continue to monitor. Right in here. This is something that we'll have to, let me go over to my thing over here. Right in here, right in this little area. This is where you're gonna have to watch for that tornado potential. Obviously, the heavy rainfall potential is gonna set up out here towards Mount Home, Fayetteville, Fort Smith. And I'm noticing something here, Derek. There's a lot of uncertainty with the model data right now in terms of trying to figure out, is it going to shift west? Is it going to shift east? Something that we'll have to keep an eye on. But these little cells out here that you're seeing, I'm willing to bet Wolfpaw will be live covering one of these cells for the potential of seeing tornadoes as we move into tomorrow night here.
A lot more of these.
And then you can see by the time we get into 4 o'clock in the morning, this continues, by the way, all the way till 4 o'clock in the morning. And a lot of heavy rainfall for our folks over here in western Arkansas, portions of central Arkansas. You see this break over here. This is where you're going to have to watch for the potential of seeing some tornadoes. It's going to be an active night tomorrow night, folks. And then this finally pushes out of the area here as we move into Tuesday afternoon here. And then we get to talk about heat again as we move into that time frame.
But if you can look at that question I pulled up, and it's just to the north and west a little bit of Galveston. So, but I know it's kind of out of our viewing area, but just kind of maybe we can give a little bit of advice to help them out.
Okay. And by the way, while he's being muted, by the way, it's just to make sure there's no echo issues. We'll sort all that stuff out later on. To answer that question, Dustin, from Marie, I would say this is probably going to be a Category 1 hurricane that's going to make landfall, unless something absolutely just bonkers just happens overnight, which I've seen this before with Harvey, etc. I would prepare for the potential of seeing some storm surge. I would have the potential of seeing some very, very heavy rainfall down there, upwards, I think almost a foot of rain down there near that area. Also, the potential of seeing some tornadoes as well. I think more of your area will be heavy rainfall and almost hurricane force winds will be the problem for you. This is not Arkansas for those that just tuned in and heard that. It's not Arkansas, by the way. It is for our folks down there in Texas. We've got people that are asking about Texas here. So, that would be something that I would expect down there. And that's just, like you said, Dustin, just a little bit outside of the, the Galveston area down there. So something you just have to you have to watch. Let me see here. Ricky, if one of my moderators, Kim, Abby, one of y'all can take care of that, that'd be awesome. Let me see here. Dustin, if you could pull up natural state transparency. I love your channel, by the way. I watch it on our down periods. It's awesome. If you could pull his up. So what is the chance of this shift? Could this shift west a little east? The tornado from northeast Arkansas, Walnut Ridge, Lawrence County area. Right now, what I can do, and which is awesome. And by the way, big shout out to our sponsors. With him and Moreland Construction and Services LLC. They've done an amazing job along with our other sponsors and Richard Alters and stuff like that. They're really helping. We're getting our graphics more updated. Something new that I can do is that I can put Futurecast along with the track for Beryl. So let's take a look at this real quickly here. So if you give me just a second, and I can pull up the track. Give me 1 second. There's the track. So there's the track of the system right now. And this is going to be the official forecast for us. So you can obviously see that's going to be a tropical depression by the time we get into the Tuesday time frame. But what I can do is I can loop this through, and you can kind of see on what the Futurecast is trying to do with it. Right now, for your specific area up there in northeastern Arkansas, I would be on guard for the tornado threat. Keep an eye on it. Kevin, this is why we're not showing a NATOcast. I personally, just to be honest with you, I take it with a grain of salt. I mean, in terms of the area, I think the area is great. I think the percentage may be a little bit too overdone. I think the area that is highlighting pretty much from North Louisiana to southern Arkansas to central, etc., on the eastern side of the low, I can see that. Is it going to be as high as it's trying to put out? I don't think so. I think it's, like you said, it has a little bit of a bias to it, and it does run hot at this point. Okay, so I have a friend that lives in Corpus Christi. I checked on him. He's prepared, praying for him. We're praying for him here from the page. Hopefully he makes it out okay here. But this is just kind of a look at the Futurecast at this time here. Okay, so I think that's really it, guys. It's 10:30. We all got to get some rest. We've got some major stuff that we got to deal with over the next 24 to 48 hours. I will be back here tomorrow morning, kind of going over some kind of touching bases with stuff, kind of give you guys kind of a quick Futurecast and kind of answer a few more questions here and there. I recommend you guys go check out our new Discord server. It's more simplified. It's more basically you go in there. You know, you don't have a lot of things here, so you can just go in, get what you need, come out. It's fine. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna rest our team up. We're gonna get ready for this. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, Derek, the last time me and you did coverage on the tropical system, I think it was almost 12 hours that we were live. Dustin, Chandler, they're new here. Well, relatively new here. They've been here a couple of years. They're new to this. It's been 4 years since we've had a tropical system. So they're going to be here. Our entire team's going to be here. Me and Derek both know how it is to cover tropical systems. It's a long duration event. It's not like a typical severe weather event. It's something that you just have to deal with for like almost 12-hour basis. So other than that, guys, I think that's really it. Unless, Derek, Dustin, Chandler, if y'all got something y'all want to add, go right on ahead.
Just be patient. That's all I ask. Because, like I said, we are getting data in just as fast as we can get it in and get it to you guys. Just be patient. We'll have updates all throughout the night, and like I said, Cameron said it'll be here in the morning. And then as soon as impacts start getting ready to make their impacts in Arkansas, we'll be here to keep you updated just like we always do.
All right. So other than that, I think that's really it, guys. All right, so like I said before, we'll continue to keep you guys updated. I think that's it in terms of the questions, stuff like that. We'll have the timing and all the other stuff as we move into first thing tomorrow morning here, guys. But y'all take care, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here, your source for all things
Arkansas weather.